So Sean Strickland, Dracus Duplessis. So we are a news and information podcast. We don't have any agenda. We try to present things here the way we see it. And not unlike when you and I are calling fights, Kenny, we're just calling it like we see it, right? There's no preconceived bias. There's no promotional directive or anything of the sort. But I am growing tired of this MMA space a little bit and just the morass of negativity when there is a close fight. Because even if you and I both thought Dracus Duplessis won the fight, we try to present that information respectfully. And when I go on to X or I go to our YouTube comments, it seems like a lot of these fans are just in attack mode. And I don't know if these fans are casual fans or not, right? But I appreciate the passion, but I'm getting to a point at 45 years of age where I don't know how much time I have left in this MMA space, because if I go do pro football, like, I'm not necessarily going to be dealing with this lowest common denominator all the time. And I don't know, man, I just feel like there's a lot of malice and disrespect from the fan base, and we can disagree. Like, don't take it from me. Demetrius Johnson and Kenny Florian thought DDP won the fight. I don't know. I've just been very off put with the negativity that has permeated my feed since Saturday night, and I'm just not sure how much longer I have in this space, honestly.
So there you have it. Jon Anik is going through a really tough time right now. This is one of the worst situations that I've seen in the UFC, and I don't know how long. No commentator should have to go through this kind of punishment just for a take, just for his own opinion. He's getting absolutely slandered on by the MMA community, and we need to do better. I mean, this is serious business we're talking about. This is not just some normie on the side of the road. This is Jon Anik we're talking about, and we need to treat him with some more respect here. The truth is, Jon Anik is the best at his job, and we need to make sure that he's protected at all costs. Now, if you're wondering, I am trolling. I'm not being entirely serious here. This is satirical, by the way. But Jon Anik, I think he's kind of being a big baby about this whole entire situation. And I'll preface with this. I understand what Jon Anik's going through. I think the majority of MMA YouTubers, commentators, anybody with a take gets a lot of backlash. People have their opinions, people have their takes, and people disagree with them, and they might take it a bit too far when it comes to their strong-filled opinions. But I don't think Jon Anik is totally being honest with us, and I think he's kind of blowing this out of proportion and making this a bigger deal than what it needs to be. And I'll say this first, I really do kind of feel bad for Jon Anik. He is more of a neutral character, doesn't really go out there and make brash opinions or cause a big hoopla with his own takes. He mainly keeps his opinions reserved or very neutral if he does happen to give one, but in this instance, he was pretty vocal about how he thought Duplessis won the fight. But Jon Anik, man, I guess I didn't realize that he was never exposed to online media. And you would think that would be the case because he's a commentator. He's always in the public eye. People are always talking or seeing Jon Anik on TV or on a pay-per-view card. You would think he would be exposed to some sort of criticism. He even has his own podcast. I'm sure he probably dives in the comment section every now and then to read some comments. There's no way Jon Anik has never seen a hate comment before. And maybe up to this point he has, and that's why he's causing a big outburst of, I'm not going to be in the MMA space anymore. Maybe this was the straw that broke the camel's back for Jon Anik here, but dude, it's just, it is what it is, man. You're a UFC commentator, you make a buttload ton of money. And he even said in the whole podcast that he can go over to football and do that to escape this MMA space. You think football is going to be any different than the MMA space? Matter of fact, there's more people, there's more casuals in football. This might even be worse for you if you go over to that space and give a weird take. I mean, God forbid you call Lamar Jackson a running back. God forbid you say you don't like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. You're going to get rampaged by Swifties on your podcast. Anywhere Jon Anik goes, he's going to get similar treatment if he does air out his opinions. The MMA space is not the only space that's going to cause a bunch of hoopla when you give your take. People will disagree with anything. Even on a small channel like mine, if I go through my hidden comments, dude, I get some crazy outlandish shit that you wouldn't believe people are saying. This is a normal occurrence for a lot of MMA YouTubers, even of my size. People online will air out any opinion that they have, and they don't care if it comes at your expense. That's just the way this game works. People will air out their opinions behind a computer because they feel safe all the time. I will even air out my opinions behind a computer because I feel safe. That's just the way things go. And you contemplating quitting your job because of this, I think is kind of, ugh. You know what I mean? Just, ugh. There's not even a word for me to describe it. It's just, ugh. And don't get me wrong, man. I have a lot of respect for Jon Anik. In my opinion, he is the best commentator in the UFC right now. He is the most well-trained. He is the most well-spoken. He does the best job. His one-liners are always going to be in UFC history when somebody gets a highlight reel KO or even just a moment. He has one of the best voices for MMA. His commentary job is always focused. His play-by-play is what we need in the sport right now. I think Jon Anik is the perfect man for the job. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So I really do not want him to quit because he is saving the commentary desk by himself pretty much. So Jon Anik, please screw your head on straight. Who cares about the haters? You're going to get them no matter what in any sort of field you go in, into any sport you want to indulge yourself in. You're going to find haters of every single kind. And honestly, haters is what makes the sport go around. Without these super strong fan bases, without these super crazy Strickland fans and all these Adesanya fans and these Dagestani fans, the sport just wouldn't be as fun. I'm going to be honest with you guys for a second, man. I know things can get toxic. I know the fan base can get a bit wild sometime in whatever fighter that they support. But without them, bro, the sport gets boring, am I wrong? All these Adesanya glazers, all these Islam glazers, and their really dumb opinions, or even their really just strong opinions, they make content. They make the sport go around. When I'm scrolling through Twitter and I see some outlandish take, and I think it's totally wrong and just stupid to say, it gets people talking about the sport and it keeps it relevant. As dumb as it may sound, that's just how the sport works, and I'm glad it works that way. So don't take it personal when some guy comments under your podcast or some guy comments on your Twitter video of you explaining how you thought Dricus du Plessis won the fight and he's calling you a flat out idiot. Don't take it personal. Don't let it affect your work. Don't let it affect you personally, because guess what? It doesn't matter. I am 110% sure I'm going to get somebody that's going to call me anything that they want to call me in the comment section that might offend me. And you know what? I'm going to look at it. I'm going to laugh. Might be a tad bit upset, but I'll laugh it off and then I'll forget about it in the next 5 minutes. That's just how your brain should be wired whenever you're on social media and when you're online. Shit like this is going to happen pretty occasionally. So Jon Anik, please stop. Don't quit your job. That's just super dumb. Or just don't leave the MMA space. You make plenty enough money for you to just quit because of some bums online. Who cares? Just keep rolling, keep trucking along. You're a commentator, for goddamn sakes. You have one of the best jobs in the world, and you're going to let some 16-year-old kids who don't really watch MMA ruin that for you. I don't know, Jon Anik, please just don't quit. I like you a lot, man. I appreciate you. That's all I have to say for this video. So yeah, like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for notifications. I'm out of here. Peace. Jon Anik, please don't retire.